Hi, everyone. Good morning. I am Carol Williams with Williams Immigration, and we are back for another Monday morning edition of Beyond the Soundbite, where we talk about all things U.S. immigration. As you know, I usually like to keep my updates just limited to the week prior, but sometimes, as you know, things take a little bit longer with CIS and the immigration system, so I will sometimes talk about things that are a little past the week. So let's dive right in. The first thing I want to talk to you about should not be a surprise. It is still H-1B season. So the first thing we're going to cover is the fact that USCIS has run the lottery. They have updated your status of your registration in your My USCIS account. If you were selected, your status should at this point say selected. And remember, if you were selected, you must file your full H-1B application by June 30th of this year. So make sure that you go into your USCIS account, you check that, make sure if it says selected, that you make sure that gets filed by June 30th. If you were not selected, there may be some other options for you. And Immigration Service has not shut down the option of running another lottery. They certainly haven't said if they are yet. But if you are starting to look at your Plan B options, that is a good thing. So some folks out there may have a Plan B option that is viable that does not involve the H-1B process. So now is the time you want to start looking at that if you didn't already map out your Plan B ahead of time, okay? Next, I want to talk about rising fees. So we all know that if you've been listening to me over the past several months, we all know that USCIS has a proposed rule out there where they want to raise their fees. The comment period has closed on that, so they are currently looking at those comments to see if they want to make any changes with those updated fees. So I am keeping a lookout to see when that will be finalized, to see when we have new fees in place for USCIS. In addition to USCIS, now Department of State has said that they also are raising fees. So let me tell you what their new fees are going to be. Their rule is the Department of State, they are over all the consulates. Their rule for their fee increase is effective May 30th of this year. So visitor applicants, those of you that are filling out your DS-160s online, those fees are going from $160 to $185. For my employers that are hiring individuals who have to go overseas and pick up a visa before they can travel back in, those visa fees are going up as well. If you're going to be applying for an H-1B visa, if you're applying for an L1, if you're applying for an O1, a P, a Q, or an R, those visa fees are rising from $190 to $205. So those are going up as well. Our e-visa categories are also going up. Those are going from the current fee of $205 to $315. In addition, they have also told us that border crossing cards for Mexican nationals who are 15 years of age and older, those are also going to be increased from $160 to $185. So Department of State is now has now indicated that they will be increasing their fees as well. Those fees will be effective May 30th. So if you are thinking about now maybe the time for you to apply for a new visa, if you want to scoot in and do that under the current visa fees, I would recommend that you go ahead and do that. The other thing that Department of State, they've been a very busy agency with respect to what we do lately. They are now allowing or they have an interim rule where they're now allowing J1 sponsors to electronically sign and file the DS 2019 form. So in general, we are seeing a move with USCIS and with the Department of State with respect to immigration to filing things online and receiving communication digitally and electronically. So I'm definitely going to, keep y'all updated on things that are transitioning from a more paper-based system, which is what we're sort of currently in a little bit of hybrid, where paper is still probably the majority of what they're getting, but they really want us to move towards electronic filing. So I'm going to keep y'all updated on that. The next thing I want to talk about is we have new guidance from the Immigration Service, from USCIS. And this new guidance talks about when something, a filing or a response to some sort of request from the agency, is considered what we call timely filed. So oftentimes we will file something, and then if the Immigration Service has questions, they will send us what's called a request for further evidence. If they really don't like something, they'll give us a notice of intent to deny. And so all of these responses back to the Immigration Service come with a deadline. In general, the policy guidance is now, they've issued really different policy guidance because we are moving towards filing things electronically now. So for our paper-based responses, if you are mailing in paper and the due date falls on the weekend, so Saturday or Sunday, or the due date falls on a federal holiday, the Immigration Service will receipt in and consider your response as timely filed if it is received the very next business day after the weekend or that federal holiday. So if the federal holiday falls on a Tuesday and the Immigration Service is closed and Tuesday is your due date, they will accept it for that Wednesday. Now, keep in mind, when you go online and you look at the status update will still say that your application or your response was received on that next available business day. So, but don't freak out. They will not consider it to be filed late. Now, if you are filing electronically and you're filing your response electronically, you're not really going to get that benefit of the one day, the next business day. So you will need to file your electronic responses on the actual day that it is due, because the system can timestamp your electronic response, and it is considered received when it is timestamped in the system. So just keep that in mind. So again, we're seeing this sort of hybrid paper and electronic/digital system. So I suspect we're going to see, more policy updates coming out to account for the digital system, that we're all sort of slowly moving to. Okay. The next thing I want to talk about is some really really great news coming out of the Immigration Service is that we are going to be now interacting with a new service center. It is going to be ultimately a completely virtual service center. Currently, this new service center, it's a hybrid service center as they get it stood up. They are currently still staffing this new service center. It's about 30%. They're currently at about a 30% staffing level. They are hoping to be almost fully staffed by September of next year, so by September of 2024. So they're giving themselves quite a nice lead time in order to be almost fully staffed up and really make a really smart and hopefully seamless transition from what is now a hybrid service center to what will ultimately be a fully virtual service center. So that is excellent news. This particular service center will process a very niche area within immigration law. So they're going to process humanitarian adjustment applications to remove conditions and travel documents. So they're calling that humanitarian adjustment, removable conditions and travel documents, and they're calling it HART, calling it the HART Service Center. This will be great for individuals that are waiting for humanitarian-based benefits. There's backlogs all over the agency. We know that. I talk about that just about every week. So this new service center, not only will it be virtual, but it's going to really start with a very niche basis for its actions. So I am looking forward to seeing how this new service center processes applications, and if we see processing times once this new processing center is fully up and running, whether or not we see processing times really coming down for these particular categories. So I'm super excited to see how all this works out. And again, they're about 30% staffed right now. They're working on a hybrid model, but their ultimate goal is to be a fully virtual service center. So I'm kind of excited to see where the immigration service goes with that. So that is all I have for you on this glorious Monday morning. If you have any questions, you are welcome to reach out to the firm at 954-903-1337. You can also pop a comment down below. I do look at those and respond. Sometimes I respond to you privately if you're asking me about what may be some personal information. But again, you're always welcome to call the firm at 954-903-1337. And feel free to share this video with someone that you think may find it helpful, whether it's a family member, whether it's a professional colleague. I think that'd be great. So happy Monday morning. Have a great rest of your week, and we will chat next Monday.